Again now and for later. So, okay, well, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream for today, December 15th, 2020. Back with us once again is Peak Fintech CEO Johnson Joseph. And today we're going to learn all about what's next for this exciting company. The stock has made a big run. We're in a little bit of a consolidation phase right now. We're going to find out if this is going to be our next 10x or 100x winner. It's already up, I don't know, 300, 400%, which is like a little appetizer, so a little preview of the possibilities. And again, for anybody that's just tuning in, our goal with next Superstock live stream is to bring you companies which, again, they have that 10x to 100x upside, and they're going after, there's three things that they have in common. They're going after big multi-billion-dollar market opportunities. They're at key inflection points right now, right before that massive growth, and they have multiple catalysts in place which can ignite that stock price movement, value creation. So today we're going to ask, you're going to have an opportunity to ask the CEO your questions and decide for yourself if Peak Fintech is going to be that next 100-bagger stock. So that said, Johnson, let's dive into all the recent news. It's been I don't know, I think you were 2 weeks since we last had you on. You've had some interesting developments.
It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, you know what? There's been a lot of news since the end of the third quarter, end of September. There was a flurry of announcements, and we've gotten questions from shareholders just trying to understand what everything means, right? They're having trouble keeping up with everything, all of the activities that have been going on with the company since the end of September. So we put out a corporate update this morning, just kind of like summarizing some of the more important events that took place since the third quarter ended. What I wanted to do today with you, Jack, is I wanted to kind of just go over some of the important elements and really tell the audience how everything ties in together, right? I mean, we made announcements about the financial center in Jiangyin, deals with distributors. We're buying technology software.
The AI deal.
What's that?
The AI deal.
The AI, exactly, right? So people are like, okay, how does all of this fit in, right? Well, this is what I wanted to discuss here today primarily is everything that we're doing is centered around the Kubla Lending Hub ecosystem, right? So what we're doing in China is we're building this nationwide ecosystem where small businesses get together with lenders and they conduct credit transactions, loans and credit transactions. Now, there are different components to the Lending Hub ecosystem, and each of the announcements that we made since the end of the third quarter plays a key role into building that ecosystem, and that's what I wanted to discuss here today. So,
you know what I'd like to do? Just for anybody that's new, we got a lot of new people right now watching. Mm-hmm. In a snapshot, just to explain what does Peak Fintech do, and of course we should mention the revenue run rate. I would start off with that because it's impressive.
Right. Well, in a nutshell, what we do is we have a platform called Kubla Lending Hub, and that platform is at the center of, call it the Lending Hub ecosystem. And what the platform does is it pulls data from small and medium-sized micro companies as well. So it pulls data from their accounting software, from various sources, public information, private information. They give us access sometimes to their bank statement. All of the information that a financial institution would want to have access to in order to make a credit decision as to whether or not to extend credit to the small business. We have access to all of that information in real time, right? So the information flows into the Lending Hub. We analyze that information. There's an AI component as well. On the other side of the equation, we ask the financial institutions, the banks, to enter their criteria, right? Whatever it is that they're looking for, whether it's a business that operates in a particular industry, they're looking for a specific profit margin, cash conversion cycle, whatever, right? So they enter their criteria, and we essentially match the right lenders with their ideal business candidates, right? In order for them to extend loans, we match the two together. Whenever there's a transaction that happens, we charge a fee, essentially. So that's Peak in a nutshell. So that's what we do. Now, you have a question?
Yeah. Just because I think they need to know that you're doing, what are you doing? $60 million run rate right now with this.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, we started in 2018. We had 1.6 million in revenue. In 2019, we scaled that up to 11.7 million. This year, we had forecasted 40 million in revenue, and we're on pace to exceed that forecast. Now, we haven't put out any revised guidance yet. We will likely do so in the coming weeks or in early January. So the guidance that we're going to put out will exceed the forecast that we put out for this year. So we fully expect to make over 40 million in revenue for 2020. We had our third quarter number was slightly above 15 million. So we're on quite a run right now, as far as the revenue is concerned. It's scaling up nicely. So yeah. So that being said, going back to the announcement that were made earlier this year, since the end of the third quarter, I want to address maybe like 5 or 6 of them, like one by one. First of all, the financial center that we launched in Jiangyin at the end of September, right? So how does that fit into the whole Kubler Lending Hub ecosystem? Well, that financial center itself is, you can think of it as a smaller version of the nationwide ecosystem, right? So it's limited. The financial center is limited to businesses and lenders who operate in the city of Jiangyin. So just like the nationwide ecosystem, Lending Hub ecosystem, the small businesses give access to their data, and they can qualify for loans and credit from the participating lending institutions. Now, what's interesting about the financial center in Jiangyin is that this was an initiative of the city of Jiangyin. This was not us, basically. It's not like we stepped into the city of Jiangyin and say, hey, we're going to open this financial center. This was something that the city of Jiangyin took it upon themselves. They saw the Lending Hub operating in their city as part of the or planned nationwide operation of the ecosystem. They saw it operating, and they said, hey, you know what? Why don't we do something special here? Let's create a financial center specifically for the city of Jiangyin. And they invited financial institutions that do business in the city to lend based on the analytics and the AI that would be performed by the Lending Hub system. Now, just a quick update on that. Since the financial center launched at the end of September, we've had almost over 100 transactions. We were able to get a little more than 3,000 small businesses. By the way, there are over 200,000 businesses in the city of Jiangyin. So far, about 3,000 of them have registered to be part of the program. And like I said, we've done a few transactions. The backing of the government.
What 1% is of a growth is an impressive take up rate also. I mean, because if you look at that scale out, it's a massive number. And this is just, what is it? A few months
Absolutely. Like, I mean, the whole concept of the Kubler ecosystem, like, I mean, there are no fees, right? It's free for small businesses to join, free for lenders to join. They only pay if they conduct a transaction, right? So they have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. So that's why it hasn't been too difficult for us to expand our services throughout. We're primarily in the province of Jiangsu right now. So I mentioned Jiangyin, but we're also in the city of Wuxi. We started operations in Nanjing. We stepped out a little bit with some small operations in Xi'an, but primarily we're focused in the city, in the province of Jiangsu for now. But we will be looking to expand our operations to other provinces. That's stuff that will come later on. So with the city, the update on the financial center is that things are going well on track right now for us, conducting transactions. Like I said, we had about 3,000 small businesses join the platform. And more importantly, we're also adding raw material distributors, manufacturers that do business with retailers in the city. So one of the announcements that we made was that we had the second largest steel producer in all of China join the platform most recently. So that was something that came as a result of the Jiangyin Financial Center.
You know what's interesting is that with these things, as you get more success, it just snowballs because things spread by like word of mouth. When somebody gets a loan through your platform, they tell their friends, and you have that, or massive like viral growth.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, there is word of mouth. There are some marketing efforts that we're doing as well. There are a number of ways in which we can basically expand our operations, right? So the financial center in the city of Jiangyin, we expect that to be kind of like a template for us that we can use to replicate that concept in other cities. In fact, I didn't even mention that, but we have an agreement also with the city of Nanjing to replicate the Jiangyin Financial Center in Nanjing. So this is a way for us to port basically our services city by city and eventually get to a nationwide ecosystem of the Kubler Lending Hub ecosystem. So
this is just one part of the growth story.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
right.
Very interesting. Okay.
The second thing I wanted to go ahead. No, I said the second thing I wanted to mention was the Gold River platform, right?
Yeah.
The Gold River platform, people need to understand the importance of that platform in the Kubler Lending Hub ecosystem. Now, Gold River was a platform that was originally designed for raw materials trading, oddly enough. And this platform, we spent some time, energy, and a little bit of money, basically just getting the platform adjusted to be able to service various stakeholders. What I mean by that is not just raw material suppliers, but we've made adjustments in Gold River so that now if you are a distributor, you can actually upload your products into Gold River and make your products available to your retail clients. The retailers can also log into Gold River, create accounts, and purchase from a variety of distributors and raw material suppliers who are part of the Lending Hub ecosystem. Now, what's interesting about Gold River is at the end of the third quarter, I'm sure like your audience, a lot of our investors are aware of the outsourcing fees that we had in the third quarter, and that goes towards the profitability of the company. So I understand the concerns that people had when we came out with the third quarter numbers, and there was a huge number, right, in terms of outsourcing expenses. That was because we were outsourcing a lot of the services related to the supply chain financing services that we're offering in the city of Jiangyin. We're outsourcing that to a third-party company, and we're incurring large expenses. Now, what we have done is we started at the end of the third quarter, we started to transfer a lot of those services that were being outsourced to a third party to the Gold River platform, because Gold River is able to assume some of the services that were being provided by that third party company. So more and more, as the weeks went on, we've started to do more and more transactions through Gold River and outsource less to the third party company. So what that's going to do is in the fourth quarter and then quarters to come, what you're going to see is that, yes, the revenues will continue to scale up, but you're going to see a significant decrease in the outsourcing expenses, which will make the company more profitable. So that's what's really important about the Gold River platform. The other thing is that right now, the platform is really serving as the gateway for the distributors and the retailers that we're going to be doing business with. So the BDC deal that we announced a few weeks ago, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more about in a minute, BDC, their main interface to the Lending Hub ecosystem is through the Gold River platform. Same thing for the second distributor, BJM. Gold River is going to be their main interface. So we're going to continue to use Gold River as the main interface for all of our distributors that we're going to be doing business with, in addition to having it take over the outsourcing services that were being outsourced to a third-party company. So that's why Gold River is very important in the Lending Hub ecosystem.
Okay, so we're asking, well, one of the part, they see you have big revenues, the margins are maybe a little bit small. Now, I don't think right now peak is really an earnings story yet. That might be 9 months from now. Right now, it's purely a growth story.
It's a growth, absolutely. Yes.
if you can just maybe address the margins, what are you going to be doing to increase margins? What's that outlook like?
Well,
and the question you see on the screen, Sang is asking about
percentage will the outsourcing. You know what? Like, I mean, based on our estimates, we expect the outsourcing expenses to decrease by as much as 30%, potentially more. But when I say significant, that would be significant. That would significantly increase the profitability of the company. So the decrease in the outsourcing expenses is one of the reasons why. There are other reasons, but it's one of the reasons why we expect the company to be profitable by the end of 2021.
Okay. Let me just address a couple of questions. So, we have a question about, what happens with people default on loans. If you, Johnson, if you can just explain your business model and that loan, why this doesn't really, does it affect you?
Okay. Well, that's an excellent question because first of all, just want to make sure that the audience understands that we are not in the business of lending per se ourselves. We have a subsidiary that called Asia Synergy Financial Capital that does loans right now. They make loans to small and micro businesses, and but that's a very small percentage of our revenue. Most of our revenue comes from the fees that we charge the parties that use the application, right? So that's number one thing. The second thing is this is a technology platform, right? So the Lending Hub is an analytics and artificial intelligence platform. And one of the reasons why the company has been grown so fast is because the lenders that are on the platform, when they use the platform to extend loans, and they basically they notice a significant reduction in their bad loan percentages. And as a matter of fact, our ASFC subsidiary just received. Well, this is a scoop for your audience here, Jack.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So we recently received. ASFC actually received. I believe it's the highest rating from the government because the loan defaults for ASFC were within. I can't remember what the exact percentage was, but ASFC had one of the lowest loan default rates in the entire province of Jiangsu, and that's largely because of the Lending Hub platform. So that being said, a lot of the lenders that use the Lending Hub platform significantly reduce their bad loan percentages, and that's why they keep using the platform. So to answer the question, it really does not affect us when bad loans happen, but this is one of the reasons why people use the platform is because we minimize the bad loans for the lenders.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole that's the value. Johnson, I'm glad
that's the value add, exactly correct.
Yeah. So it's not. They need to understand that Peak is not a bank. It's not a lender. It's purely a tech company.
We are, yes, we're a technology platform.
Yes. So Johnson ties into this question we have on the screen from Jeremy. Which is, I think, a key part about the data. You have a lot of data, which is, obviously the data is valuable because, it's proving itself to be successful in helping these banks reduce what could be a multi-billion-dollar problem, right? So the data is worth a lot of money, and you're getting other data that's coming in. What are some of the ways that you're planning on monetizing the data? Again, we talked about this before, which is, I think, could be a massive revenue stream.
You know what? Like one thing I'll say about that, I'm not ready to speak to the specifics of how we're going to monetize the data that we have access to. But one thing I will say is that you look at companies, market research companies, right? Gartner, Forrester, IDC, some of the big market research companies in the world, right? If you try to buy market research information from them, you'll find out it'll cost you a pretty penny, right? So the more timely the information is as well, the more expensive it is, right? So if you're getting data that's like, a year old or 6 months old, you'll pay a price for it. But if you want data that's like a month old or a week old, it's going to cost you even more. We have access to valuable data, business data, economics data, in near real time, right? So this is just so that people understand how valuable this information is. The other thing is, yes, we're using that information right now to help banks and lending institutions minimize their default rates and also find the right candidates to lend to, right? These candidates that we're speaking of, okay, the 60,000 online retailers that have joined the platform now, who will be joining platform with the BDC deal, the 250,000 plus businesses from the BJM deal, all of these are Peak's clients, right? So they're giving us access to their information and they become clients of Peak, right? So by being clients of Peak, we have information into their business operations. We know what they need, what they don't need. So we can partner up with other service providers, insurance providers, I don't know, investment providers. So there are a lot of opportunities for cross-selling opportunities, just using the information and being able to pinpoint what products and services would be best, more appropriate for our clients, right? Which are all these thousands of businesses that are on our platform. So that's just like one aspect of how we can monetize the data, but there are so many other ways in which we can monetize this information that I'm not ready to discuss right now, but that will come in the months to come.
Okay, Johnson, we got a couple of people asking about warrant exercises. Warrant exercises and
Warrant.
money is coming in. When are you going to do an uplisting?
Okay. Okay. First of all, I want to address the warrant question. There has been some selling pressure on the stock price lately. I think you mentioned consolidation. Call it whatever you want. But we do have a lot of warrants in circulation. There is also a debenture. We had a fairly unique product where we had this debenture that was not convertible, like in the classical term. The debenture was not convertible, but the debenture was issued along with warrants that could be used, where you could use the debenture to exercise the warrants, right? So a lot of people basically took advantage of that. So those warrants were at 50 cents, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of people surrendered their debentures in order to exercise their 50-cent warrants, right? So they benefited from that. And I think they turned around and some of them sold. Obviously, like, I mean, if they were able to get the stock at 50 cents, they're selling it in the market at like $1, $1.50. They're making double to triple their money, whatever, right? So there was some pressure coming from the exercise of the warrants. But on the other side, also there were quite a few warrants that were not attached to the debenture, that were just being exercised and generating cash for the company. So right now, all of the, I think, as I'm speaking to you today, all of the warrants that were attached with the debenture have been exercised. So that debenture has been completely wiped off of our balance sheet, which is a good thing. Plus, quite a few warrants have also been exercised to the tune of, I think we've had over the past couple of months, we've had about $7 million. $5 million, excuse me, $5 million worth of warrant conversions that have come into the company. Okay,
so it's a good position to be in. You get a lot of cash coming in.
Well, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, there are no complaints right now. We're in a good cash position, definitely. Now, also wanted to address the second part of the question about the uplist to the NASDAQ. This is something that I've been mentioning. We are doing the paperwork. We're just not ready right now at the stage to make a formal announcement for a move to the NASDAQ or the TSX. But we expect to be able to. It's obviously, like, I mean, something that we are pursuing and something that we expect to be able to achieve shortly. But we're just not ready to make an announcement yet on that.
Okay, we got a question about the AI. AIKeys, correct? AIKeys, the AI.
Oh yes.
What they're going to do?
Yes, the acquisition of Jean-Key is software intelligence. Yes, it is very the acquisition is not complete yet. Obviously, we're still conducting our due diligence. We expect to close to make an announcement on the closing in the coming. Well, I wouldn't say in the coming weeks, because to do a thorough due diligence, it usually takes like more than 30 days, a couple of months and stuff. So we expect to close on the acquisition probably at some point in the first quarter of 2021. But yes, to answer the question, this is very important for us, very, very strategic for us. It goes towards building the Peak's IP portfolio, and also in terms of data, right? I mentioned the importance of the data. We're pulling information from the small and medium-sized businesses that are on the platform right now, and Jean-Key has software that that resides within the banks and the financial institutions, so they have a completely different data set that we would have access to. Now, obviously, like, I mean, we wouldn't be like selling information coming from the bank, but the data that that would be coming from the bank's internal systems would help us make all of our systems more efficient and more accurate in terms of, like, predicting loan defaults and making providing more benefit to everybody that uses the lending application.
Okay, Johnson, about partnerships, with Beijing, Xinjiang, the big partnerships you announced last month. Any updates? What's happening? What kind of progress is being made there? And are there more deals in the pipeline?
Yes. So just to touch on the BDC partnership first, that's the consumer electronics distributor. Consumer products electronics distributor, and we announced that we had made the first transactions with them, and there's been a few more transactions since that announcement was made. We're closely monitoring those transactions. We haven't really opened the tap full blast yet. We want to make sure that we have a good understanding in terms of how these transactions come in, the rate at which they come in, before we do anything on a larger scale. So we're working right now with BDC on a marketing campaign to start targeting more of their 60,000 plus online clients, which we're going to start at the beginning of 2021. But for now, all systems are go. The integration work between the Gold River platform and BDC's systems has been completed. So there's a good data flow between their systems and our systems right now. We're just monitoring everything slowly before we turn on the taps full blast.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. We got. I think we have a problem with the sound. There's a little bit of on my. I think it's on mine. There's some sort of feedback. Do you hear us feedback on your end, Johnson?
No, I'm hearing you fine.
Okay. Something with the internet. Anyway, what else is in the pipeline, like for the next let's call it 30 days between now and the start of the new year?
What's in the pipeline? There's one deal I wanted to talk about. One announcement that we made with regards to Grupo Coin, that Italian retailer.
Oh, yeah. The influencers, the fun.
Yes. What's important? Yes. What's important about that agreement? It's not so much the agreement that we signed with the Italian retailer. It's really the network of 55,000 plus social media influencers that we now have a relationship with, and we can leverage those relationships to allow retailers, Canadian retailers, U.S. retailers, and retailers essentially from all over the world to sell in China. And we would be providing financial assistance to the social media influencers, because oftentimes, they need money to put on the shows and to purchase samples or whatever, right? And sometimes they have to give the deposit. They have to give deposits to the retailers, so they have to make that investment in order for them to put together a show and to sell the retailers' products, right? So that's where we come in by providing the financing. But in addition to the financing that we're providing them, being able to leverage their influence to help retailers, Canadian and U.S. retailers, sell to the Chinese market, we feel would be a huge potential new revenue stream for us.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is something that we will be talking with Canadian retailers about, U.S. retailers about putting into place. So that's an expansion of the lending hub outside of China, if you will, and that's something that people can expect to hear more about between now and the end of the year. And also, yeah, we talked about online retailers, online portals, right, such as Pinduoduo, Tmall, JD.com. Now, even TikTok, by the way, TikTok, which is a social media platform, they also have a lot of data on the sales of the social media influencers. So we're looking at potentially doing something with them as well. So those are things that could potentially happen between now and the end of the year.
Okay, we have a donation of $1 coming in for a new mic. They're saying it's a problem on my mic. Andy, thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
It means that they're watching the live. It means they're paying attention to what's being said here, right? So it's good.
I don't know. Is it my microphone, Jack, or
what's that?
Is it my microphone?
I think something on my end or the connection. Who knows? It's the internet's miss. I think I want to ask this thing with the influencers funding these live stream selling events. On your Twitter, you actually posted a picture of one of these customers.
Right.
Show. And if people see that, they can understand what's involved. Basically, there's like 5 people. It's a whole production. So that's why
it is. Absolutely. That's one of the things that we're doing. I can't remember. I think that show was in Hangzhou. So we started to send people basically to some of these shows with the influencers, right? So we can't go visit all 55,000 influencers that we've established relationships with, but we're starting to go to a few of their shows to get a better understanding of how these productions are put together, so that we have information to share with potential retail partners here in Canada and eventually in the US and the rest of the world as well. So get a better understanding what their needs are for funding, what their needs are for samples, what are the challenges basically to get a product from Canada to China. Those are some of the things that we're doing right now. We're kind of like doing our homework so that we're able to put this new line of business together. But again, I don't want people to think that we are diverting from the lending hub concept, right? This fits into the lending hub concept. It's essentially just expanding it. Yeah, it's expanding it. Basically, we're bringing now retailers from Canada, from the US, in order to allow them to sell into the Chinese retail space. But at the center of everything is going to remain the lending hub application.
No, I mean it completely ties into everything, so it makes sense. And it's interesting also in China, everything is kind of related. There's multiple products, everything working together, like you see on the WeChat. Was it WeChat, the platform? They have all sorts of stuff on it. So it's pretty incredible. We got a question about the digital currency deal. Mr. B asking about the digital currency deal that you're doing.
Okay. Yes. The implementation of the digital currency is very important for us for a number of reasons. I think eventually, China is very advanced when it comes to certain things. Okay. Mobile payments in particular, and the countries let it be known that they want to move away from they want to become a cashless society, right? So it also gives the government better visibility into the flow of transactions and so on and so forth, right? Because unlike Bitcoin or anything or some of the other cryptocurrencies, the Chinese digital currency it's centralized, and it's essentially managed by the Central Bank of China, the People's Bank of China, which is the Central Bank of China. So eventually, I think most businesses, if not all businesses, will have to adopt the Chinese digital currency. The fact that we were one of the first few platforms, to my knowledge, to allow for transactions in the digital currency gives us that kind of first mover advantage, and it allows us to get out there and tell our clients, hey, listen, you know what? We're at the cutting edge of technology. We're at the forefront of the future of transactions in China. You're also going to get better rates if you basically settle your transactions in this digital currency. So we're also encouraging a lot of the small businesses to open accounts, digital currency accounts. So we're looking at working with banks, the Postal Bank of China, which is one of our partners for this relationship, to be able to refer clients to them to open accounts, digital currency accounts. Eventually, all banks will offer that, but for now, there's an opportunity basically for us to take advantage of the fact that we're one of the first to offer the service to the market.
Okay, so it's interesting. It's you know, we had the presenter that came on before you, which was, you know, CloudMD, and you guys actually kind of started on a platform right around the same time, and both stocks pretty much went up, you know, close, almost like 4x, 5x, and now they've consolidated a little bit because it's very similar, because, you know, they had you know, warrant exercises, fund financing. You had warrant exercises,
Right.
So you know, all these things, they do pressure the stock, so, you know, puts pressure and consolidates until all that stuff washes out, which I think we're seeing. I think we're at the end of it with both stocks, because we're seeing really the stock's not going. It's like kind of it's holding steady, and the company keeps, you know, making progress. So I think very similar to with Cloud, it seems like, you know, Peak is also at that inflection point right now. The real inflection point is what's going to happen between now and 21. So we're going into, I think that's the key story. So investors, I think, need to have some patience. You know, it's everybody expects now. I think they want the stocks to go 10x, you know, in like 2 hours now. Used to do,
you know what I tell people?
A few years they would wait. 10 years.
You know what I tell people, Jack, is like, I mean, you know what? I've had people basically complain. You know the stock. You know the stock. You know, was trading pre-consolidation. You know, it was trading around the 2 cent mark, which was around 20 cents, right? Like post-consolidation right now, and a lot of well, not a lot. Well, some impatient investors and shareholders were talking about, hey, you know what? Like, I mean, what are you doing to address the stock price and everything else? And what I kept telling people at the time was, hey, you know what? Just let us build the fundamentals of the company, right? Let us build the fundamentals of the company. You're going to see revenue growth. You're going to see profitability eventually, and everything that we're doing right now. Well, the stock has responded, as you mentioned. Like, I mean, we're certainly nowhere near 20 cents right now. So the stock has responded. Now we've reached another level where, again, people are like, okay, what's coming up? What are you doing? What are you doing to address the market? The stock has been stagnating. And I'm going to tell people the same thing. Listen, we're just getting started here with building this company, you know, from the ground up. The fundamentals are good. Yes, we had some interesting deals. There are more deals that we're going to be announcing. The revenue rate that we're on right now will more than likely, well, we know the revenue rate will increase. The company will be profitable at some point in time. We talked about migrating from the CSE to the TSX, from the OTC QX to the NASDAQ. So there are a number of things. Well, there are a number of things that we're doing, which will put the company in a much different position. Call it like a quarter from now. By the end of the first quarter of 2021, I totally expect certain things to happen, which will take the company, which will make it evident to people that we're no longer a company that should be trading. I don't look at the stock price on a daily basis, so I don't even know what it's trading at right now. But I certainly expect that we will start to get the revenue multiples that some of our peers in the fintech space are getting, which is what we're absolutely not getting right now.
We got Hanny asking, will account be able to keep up with exponential growth, you know, as you expand in the cities and everything else you're doing?
Do you count on onboarding more in-market experts? That's a very good question, Annie. Yes, great people make great companies. And we have been surrounding ourselves, like we've been building, as we have been building the fundamentals of the company, we've also been building the management of the company. So we've brought along a couple of advisors that are experts in capital markets. Obviously, like, I mean, they've helped with some of the things that we've done on the capital market sides, of things to get the stock price to the level that it's at right now. We're also consulting with them for the upcoming uplistings to the TSX and NASDAQ. We're also looking at a potential uplisting to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So yes, we are bringing people with their certain expertise that will continue to contribute to the company's success. This is in Canada. In China, we've made a couple of announcements, right? So the digital currency, I forget the gentleman's name, the digital currency implementation that we did, that was because we brought on an advisor that was a former manager at the Central Bank of China. We have a couple of key people that we've also added to a management team. There's going to be more announcements about that in the coming weeks about how we're building the team over there in China as well. So yes, we are addressing the personnel in order for us to get to another level with this company.
Okay, Justin is asking about, was it Jin Shahar, right?
Okay. Has the Jinshar revenue model been completed, and when can we expect to see revenue coming from? Yeah, the model of Jinshar, I think I mentioned on one of the previous appearances that we were tweaking the revenue model of Jinshar. So Jinshar was charging a fee, right, to the loan brokerage companies in order for whenever there was a match of one of their leads. So there was a fee. We are still charging a fee for that. But what we're doing with Jinshar is we're actually working with financial institutions in Jiangyin, Nanjing, and some of the other cities in which we operate. They're actually talking about customizing products, financial products, loan products, to be exclusively made available on the Jinshar platform. So this is something that is, I can't stress the importance of that. This would be something that would be a complete differentiator for us. I mean, if you can go to brokers, if you can go to clients and say to them, hey, you know what, this particular product, whether it's the interest rate, whether it's the term or whatever, stuff like that, the fact that the financial institutions are now customizing products specifically for the Lending Hub clients to be offered through the Jinshar platform is going to be an important selling feature for us. So we will be looking to do a pilot project in 2 cities with these customized products, if you will. We're looking at doing something in Nanjing and potentially in Jiangyin as well, with the 2 financial centers, which Jinshar is closely tied to right now as we speak.
Comment here that if you do list on Hong Kong, there's going to be a lot of buying in the stock.
I see somebody that the person mentioned that we are a competitor. I really don't see us as a competitor to Ant, to be honest with you.
Totally different, actually. That's why.
Yeah. Ant is different. Like, I mean, I touched on some of the nuances the last time. I don't want to get into it right now, but yes, Hong Kong is definitely a target market for us. We fully expect that there would be a lot of, we know for a fact that there are a lot of investors that would be interested in the company. Hong Kong, China, Shanghai, Wuxi, Jiangyin. Like, I mean, it's just like, a short flight away, right, for people in Hong Kong, basically to visit our operations and talk to some of our folks over there. So we totally expect Hong Kong to be a huge, a very important event. A listing on Hong Kong to be an important event for us. As far as Ant is concerned, again, we don't see Ant as competitors. In fact, we think that there will be, possibilities. If it ever happens, there would be possibilities for us to eventually work together with Ant as partners as opposed to competitors.
Okay. Okay. So, Johnson, I guess let's kind of wrap up. In terms of news pipeline, you basically, I think you basically said stay tuned for the next.
Well, I mean, absolutely. Like, I mean, we've been putting out news like pretty much like every week, right? Like, I mean, there are a lot of things happening with it.
Well, our audience needs it daily. They need big news every day.
Exactly. They need news every day.
Daily news.
Daily news. No, like, isn't that a show? Like, no, with I think the Daily News with Jon Stewart or what? No, we're not. No, we're not planning on putting out news daily, but we do want. There are significant events that we expect will occur between now and the end of the year, and we will certainly continue to keep our shareholders informed as to what's happening with the company. So yes, there our investors and shareholders can expect news probably like every week between now and the end of the year, because of the things that we have going on right now.
Okay, I mean, there's things in the pipeline. Bottom line. Okay, so Johnson, let's wrap up. Our favorite question. Top 3 reasons, in your opinion, why investors should want to own Peak right now.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, Jack. I keep coming on your show, and I say
reasons now. This last time.
Okay. Yeah. No, the number one thing is, as I can't remember the gentleman name that mentioned it earlier. Great people make great companies, right? So the number one reason is the team that we've managed to put together. We have a fantastic team here in Canada, and also in China, right? So, and we keep adding more and more quality people to that team. We've taken the company from a $1.6 million in revenue 2 years ago. We're on pace to exceed 40 million in revenue right now. We would not have been able to do that and execute our plan if we didn't have the people to execute that plan. So the number one reason is we have the team in order for us to take the company to where we think it can go. The second thing is just the space itself, right? I mean, people are talking about like Ant Financial, right? They're comparing us to Ant Financial. Ant Financial is a company that's worth what? They weren't able to. I don't think they were able to proceed with their IPO. So officially, we don't know. They don't have a public market cap yet. But I think by all estimates, people estimate. I think it was what, $300 billion or something like that.
All these numbers are just,
Exactly. So the second reason is really like the space that we're in, right? We are in a space right now. We're in China. We're in the fintech space. There are tremendous opportunities, and the revenue growth that we talked about, the eventual profitability. We're just scratching the surface of the potential behind this company here. So that's the second one. That's the second reason, right? The potential behind the company. The third is we're just undervalued, right? So we talked about Ant being worth X billions of dollars. Peak right now is barely trading at what, 3.5 maybe times this year's revenue, not even mentioning next year's forecasted revenue. So as far as I'm concerned, those are 3 very, very good reasons in order for people to take a serious look at the company right now.
I gotta ask you one last question, because Hanny is making a $1 donation here, so we gotta ask this. We're forced. What's happening to the adoption rate? How's it going?
Oh yes, that's a very important point that Annie brought up. As I mentioned earlier, we are monitoring I'm assuming he's talking about the BDC deal. All right, so the BDC's got 60,000 online shops. And we all know the revenue potential behind that transaction for us, right? But the key is going to be in how quickly we're able to get those 60,000 shops on the Kubler lending hub and have them basically start requesting funding, right? So one of the things that we're monitoring right now, without the benefit of the marketing campaign that we started, just BDC going out on their own and just kind of like letting it be known to their clients that, hey, you know what, we have the service. So far, what we're seeing from BDC, they're telling us that about 80%, 80% of the small businesses that they've mentioned this program to said that they want to be part of the program. They have either registered to be part of the program, or they're very interested to be part of the program. So it is a big number. Listen, I'm not suggesting that 80% of the 60,000 small businesses will be on the platform within the next 6 to 12 months, but it really bodes well as far as the adoption rate is concerned. So we're looking forward to starting that marketing campaign in early January.
Yeah, that shows some serious interest. Okay, Johnson, on that note, I want to thank you everybody for joining today's live stream. Thank you, Hanny, everybody's with the super chats and everything.
Yeah, he was great.
And we'll see you on the next live stream. Thank you again, Johnson, and everybody today.
All right, see you next time, Jack. Thanks.